So welcome to another episode of Freshman Getting In series for the 2025-2026 admission cycle, where we and our incredible guests explore successful admissions cases and the tools that make them such. My name is Valeria. I am a part of the team helping to bring the Getting In events to life at Freshman Academy, and I'm excited to be hosting today's session with our amazing guest from Uzbekistan, who got into one of the world's most selective universities, New York University in Abu Dhabi. Before we start, I want to highlight something important about today's conversation. Parvina's story is particularly special because it includes a waitlist conversion. She was invited to NYUAD candidate weekend, an honor extended only to the most competitive applicants, but was then waitlisted. Through a strategic letter of continued interest and demonstrated fit, she turned that waitlist into a full ride scholarship acceptance, which doesn't happen that often. So, meet Parvina Nazarova, a current freshman at NYUAD, where the acceptance rate is less than 3%. She's now pursuing her passion for law, human rights, and policy reform at one of the most unique universities in the world. Parvina will share how she built authentic extracurriculars with Justice Society, conducted research on corruption in Uzbekistan, crafted a wholesome application where every component told one coherent story, and ultimately converted a waitlist decision into a full ride offer. So let's kick off with the person, oh my God, with the person and the path, right? Let's start with who you are. Can you tell us about your background? Where are you from Uzbekistan? What kind of school did you attend? And what was your family and community context like?
Okay, so first of all, I want to say hi to everyone. Good evening. In Tashkent, it's like 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
My name is Parvina, and as you mentioned, I am freshman now in NYU Abu Dhabi. My family context, I was originally born in Karshi, and then we, with my family, moved to Tashkent, where I pursued my middle school and high school. For high school, I studied in two schools. First, I was in Wunderkind School, and then through the admission process, I got into OVUT, if you know, like the Westminster Lyceum, and I graduated from there. First, my community was not admission getting in thing. But then when I started learning SAT, I started getting interested in how to apply to foreign universities. I got into a community through different groups and channels. And from there, I learned most of the information about admissions.
Mhm. Okay, so mostly you did not, how to say, applying to elite institutions, like very competitive ones, right? Originally, it wasn't really available in your context and community, but it was brought in by, I think, a spark of ambition. Another question is what sparked that ambition?
I wouldn't say that my ambition sparked my interest to apply
Mm,
to foreign universities
mhm,
because I had that ambition previously and it
mm,
was just there.
mhm,
And I saw my future in Uzbekistan and how I would fulfill my ambition in the
mhm,
future.
mhm,
But my friend,
mhm,
I had a friend, she's a very good friend to me. She was applying to foreign universities and she showed me like what opportunities could be out there. And then I just thought that, yes, that would be a more um, broad coverage of my ambition in the future. So I
mhm,
just pursued
mhm.
the opportunity.
Okay, so basically to clarify, 11 years long education system, right? Or 12?
Mm-hmm.
11.
11
Okay, when did you start preparing to apply? Like how much in advance?
in ninth grade. In ninth grade, I
Wow.
started with my stats.
Okay, it was your stats, meaning
Mm-hmm.
specifically focusing on IELTS, SAT, GPA alone, or something else.
Uh, in ninth grade, only that.
Okay, okay. And so basically, did you work through these goals through the first year of your preparation to then focus on research and extracurriculars, or was it more of a cycle of several attempts? You prepared in ninth grade, and then you took it in ninth grade, and then in 10th, then in 11th. How was it?
Well, I finished. I just calculated when I have to take my IELTS and SAT to have a suitable time to prepare
Mhm.
for my
Mhm.
extracurriculars and honors.
Mhm.
But like while preparing, I also was already envisioning what extracurriculars I will do and where is my interest.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay.
I was
So
finishing one by one.
okay. And there was another question in the group chat. I unfortunately don't remember who specifically asked it, but I remember the question. And I think that's one of like it's the most popular question when the
Mhm.
conversation goes about admissions. What were your stats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is truly interesting. Okay, so my stats are IELTS 8 and
Uh,
SAT 1500. And
mhm.
recently, one student even texted me, "Oh, I have an SAT of 1500. It's a super score. Well, should I go test optional or not?" I went with my 1500 SAT and I still got in, so don't worry if you have 1500.
Mhm.
1500 and more, it's like safe.
Yeah.
If you have English section like 720, it would be good. I
Yeah.
had 720 and 780.
Okay. So mostly going beyond 1500, that's a safe spot, right? And
Mm-hmm.
once you got it, and if you're really pressed in time, if you have it, it's better to focus on the other parts of application, right? Because like getting that score already means that you're really good at critical thinking. You will be able to handle the coursework if the GPA is also nice and you have solid recommendation letters from your teachers, right? Yeah, but that's what the SAT is for, right? It basically shows, okay, are you suited, how prepared you are to withstand the rigor of liberal arts education, right? Can you read high complexity texts? Can you work through the text and information in the way to get through them really fast, right? And like, do you actually have the efficient tools to succeed in college? All right. And you mentioned you started preparing, like envisioning your passion, right? Like the projects that you would be building through 10th and 11th grades, right? When you started
Mm-hmm.
preparing. So was it more of a process like, okay, I think I like this and I might try doing this, or did you use any more advanced tools such as, guided, directed reflection, writing? I don't know, maybe specific kind of mentorship to help you arrive at clear understanding of your passion and how to turn it into a specific project and execute it successfully.
Like speaking honestly, when you're at the process of doing something, you never know the clear path which you will follow.
Yeah,
For me, it was also, I didn't know what I was doing for certain, but I knew what was my interest, what was my passion, where I have to go. But I didn't have this like clear path which I have to like for sure follow. And don't worry if you are also in this situation. Just know what you're interested in and genuinely follow the opportunities that are in front of you.
yeah.
That's what I did.
Hmm.
I knew that my interest was pursuing and um, finding truth about justice because
Hmm.
that's what my experiences led to. I wanted to know what is justice, how it influences how people make decisions, and how it influences our overall life. And whenever I had the opportunity to explore what it is and get as much information as possible, I just pursued it. I saw, like, for example, on the internet that there is a volunteer open application in Nimalchi. I immediately applied. I like quickly filled up the requirements, I did the task, and then they admitted me. So one example. If you are interested in, for example, theater, I did the 3 months course in Ilham Theater because like it will also show you how diverse people can be. It will improve you like personally. So I saw that there is a course and I immediately applied. So if you know your interest, in the natural flow, you will find different opportunities which you will pursue. So I
Yeah.
think like you have to act in the moment and genuinely follow your interest.
Yeah. And follow the ideas that your mind generates based on the intensity of input that you follow, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's true. Like the more you act, the more you learn, the more you speak about where you want to go, the more questions you ask, the more your brain and system and psychology starts like creating the meaning and creating the system and creating solutions for that, the more ideas on what to do you have, and the faster you move, right? Yeah, okay. Also, um, um, in what you shared just now, you mentioned that you wanted to explore the truth about justice, like how people make decisions in justice, because your experiences led to this interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And more specifically, I think would be interested to learn about what sparked your interest in law, human rights, and policy reform. Was there a specific moment or experience that ignited that passion, and how did this interest evolve over time?
So I would say it's my daily interaction with my friends, with family, and the reflection that I made on my daily like routine. For example, just simple conversations with my friends, how they got like assaulted while being in a taxi, or
Mhm.
just seeing the simple situations in the classroom, how teachers they react differently based on gender, how they like evaluate situation, how they
Yeah.
put grades in family settings too. The norms that I see, how my friends they explain me what happened in their family, how again gender influences what parents like do to their children,
Yeah.
and like this led me to reflect more on our daily experiences and how it is prevalent in our life that these small situations shape who we are and what we will do in the future.
Mhm.
And I saw that this injustices they're not only um like they're not only because of the gender,
Mhm.
but they're prevalent in every aspect of our life. It can be economic injustice, it can be social injustice, it can be um, other injustices, which I covered through my Justice Society project.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah,
Which
that
we're
is a
going to switch to right now, right? So
mhm.
justice deciding meaningful work. So you arrived at this idea of I really value justice. Like I feel like well, there's lack of conversation, at least, upfront conversation about maybe navigating social dynamics, right? With dignity and respect and justice towards all involved actors, right? No matter where they come from. Um, yeah, so tell us about Justice Society. How actually was it founded, right? It's pretty clear that you had this passion for justice, but how did you arrive at the idea of Justice Society, right? And did you try to develop this project with somebody else under someone else's guidance or mentorship, right? Um, and what tools did you use to, you know, build the idea from the very like conceptual level into like, okay, how do I actually build and execute it?
So first, the concept of Justice Society was to teach students and overall citizens of Uzbekistan what is justice.
Mhm.
Because if we want to, so basically, my goal was to make a change in society, right? To eliminate the small injustice situations in our life. How do we arrive to that? I cannot just force people to act differently, right?
Mhm.
So, first, everything, the change comes from education. If you are educating the youth, then they will like understand what is justice, and when they're older, they will act differently. So that's why we targeted education. And it all started from like a small debate, I would say, club in my lyceum,
Mhm.
where we would come and then we would like debate on the terms of justice and about different cases that I saw. So it was a small group discussion. But then
Mhm.
when it started getting bigger, I made it publicly open. I created a channel, an Instagram account, and then I started conducting a bigger debate where like everyone could come and participate.
Mhm.
And after that, after several sessions of debates,
Mhm.
I started to give different other opportunities as well.
Mhm.
So we conducted interviews with the Seoul University students, also to discuss different opportunities in Uzbekistan where students could go
Mhm.
study and um, again explore more what is justice. We started making writing competitions for
Mhm.
more international outreach because the writing competition was targeted to online audience.
Mhm.
Because I saw that there is some audience from Russia, from Turkmenistan, from
Mhm.
Tajikistan, but I
Mhm.
didn't know how to involve them in our debate club because they cannot come physically, right? So
Mhm.
I thought maybe to make an online writing competition.
Nafasat, can you mute everyone, please? Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So overall, the way you built it was okay. I have a passion. I kind of I know that that's important for me. So passion is either something that you're really excited about, or maybe something that you feel like is, central to who you are, right? There's a lot of meaning around that one topic, right? Um, but again, how do we arrive at knowing, right? Because I remember myself as a teenager. I kind of had a lot of different experiences, but it took, I think, 2 years of guided reflection in order to integrate the intensity of experience I've been through. And I've like been, this kind of teenager who's like doing everything everywhere all at once. So to clear like a clear vision of me or like build a clear narrative of who I am as a person, right? Um, I think that's what we would want to cover in the second portion of this interview, right? How basically how to discover the passion. But anyway, I wanted to summarize what you shared. The pathway towards building a project is okay, that's what I care about. That's what I want to, I don't know, change in society, right? Like to make it more just, right? Okay, then you ask a question, like, how do I actually do it? Like, what actually makes a society more just? What brings in more justice? Your solution was people act justly when they first know what this is, and second, they know how to behave and they know how to make decisions, right? In in different contexts and situations. So what I can do is to build a platform for conversation, education on this topic, right? And then, okay, we can hold contests, writing competitions, debates, etc. Okay, and that's basically how you build a project. But another question is scaling. Did you go over some, cycles of scaling? How long did it take for you to build Justice Society? How many sessions did you have? Like, basically, what was the scope of that activity?
Uh, so the
Is,
scaling,
sorry, not
I don't,
was, is.
so I'm not sure for certain like how long it took
Mm-hmm,
to go over like 100
mm-hmm,
participants. But as I said, first it was like a group debate at Lyceum.
mm-hmm,
So those participants were also participating in the future.
mm-hmm,
So that's why they invite their friends. Those friends they invite their like other friends. So it goes like with this cascade of
mm-hmm,
uh yeah, where a lot of students come
mm-hmm,
because they know others who
mm-hmm,
are also
mm-hmm,
interested in this.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I think the consistency is the key. If you make something consistently, students will come eventually and they will invite their friends because the experience was enjoyable.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, if they enjoyed the event, they will invite their friends in the future. But the key is, as I said, it's consistency. If you just make it regularly, you will have a very huge outreach.
mm-hmm. Okay. Regarding, okay, so overall, you're not sure about how long you were building it, right? Like, but relatively, right?
Mm,
Not relatively, approximately, how long it was in like its very active functioning period? Like where people were like learning about it, joining, where you were organizing events.
yeah, yeah. I think 3 to 4 months.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so in the focus of three around 4 months. Okay. Um, great, great. But overall, when students think of, how to actually build and scale their application, right? And build it like really well. So they have the stats already, and right now they focus on the project. Overall, how much time would you recommend spending on developing the project? Because I feel like ma many different people, they have many different expectations related to project development, right? To basically showcase your passion, apply your skills, etc.
How long should it
Yeah,
take?
yeah, yeah,
Like per
yeah,
week?
yeah. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
per week, but like I know that some people start building projects when they know that, hey, I want to get in, I need a project. And they start building a
Mm-hmm.
project, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it basically fulfills the function, right? And then they either understand that, hey, like that was one of my eras, it's ended. I don't want to continue doing it, but it's a really good project. I had a great experience. And other people approach it differently. They either like choose a project, like in my case, I was like, oh my God, I have to find a project which I'm going to commit to for life. And I think that created a lot of obstacles on my way, like a lot of them, because I was being overly serious about it. So, what would be the most, I'd say, optimal framework, not framework, but framing and mindset, which students can approach building projects when they are in their admission cycle, based on your
Mm.
experience? Yeah.
I think you first need to have a very clear vision of which group of students that you want to target.
Hmm.
How are you going to promote your project?
Hmm.
So because my project was Justice Society, I was targeting law students. I was promoting my project within the groups of law students. So know your vision. Who are you targeting?
Hmm.
What skills promotion you are targeting. So I was
Hmm.
promoting my society by saying, oh, you will learn what is justice, you will improve your overall worldview, and you have to mention specific things that will promote your project.
Hmm.
Um, and choose the activity that you will conduct regularly,
Hmm.
so on a weekly basis. So if you want to, as in my case, if you want to educate students to debate, you
Yeah.
have to conduct debates on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So choose the activity which will comply with your skill improvement um, clearly, and then pursue it, and then just
Hmm.
do it on a regular basis. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's the project. That's
Okay.
the
Have a
whole
really clear
thing.
vision, delineated somewhere in the document. Have it in your mind when you go to bed, when you wake up. This hustle success story. Yeah, anyway, then know which goal specifically you have, right? Like, okay, so I have a project. I need to reach a lot of people. How do I do this, right? Then I need to hold this amount of events. What do I need in order to, build the events? Basically, the next question would be when you clarify the idea is what are the goals and then what are the specific metrics that are under my control that I can track in order to grow the project, right? There
Mhm.
shouldn't be too many, but there shouldn't be too few, right? There should be enough of them in order to have enough control over what you're doing. Um, and yeah, key thing is consistency. Great. Now do we have any questions related to project building, to Justice Society? If you have any, please drop them right now, like right now, because we're going to transition to research topic just in a minute or two.
Thank you, thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, welcome.
Oh,
Hi, Mahinur.
Oh,
with
sorry.
funding.
It's
Hi.
okay. Hi. Any problems with funding? You mean funding for the project?
Uh, yeah. We received some funding from Goethe Institute,
Mm-hmm.
so that was a huge journey as well. Because I
Mm-hmm.
had to email the director like several times, go there myself personally, like conduct meetings with her, make a presentation on what is my project about, what are our objectives, how well like how many students we expect, when it's going to happen. So I had to provide every detail about my event, my project overall to receive funding from them. Um, it's just project proposal, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
How well
Okay.
you present your project and how committed you are to that, how sure you are that everything will go well. Um, and yes, so
Mm-hmm.
I met with her, I think, like 3 times, and I made a presentation, project proposal, details about the event,
Mm-hmm.
and I showed her our Telegram channel, Instagram account, so that everything is credible. So
Mm-hmm.
after that, you can receive funding from different institutions.
Uh-huh. Why Goethe Institute though? Like what like
Because
yeah. Uh, Sorry.
yeah, no
Uh,
worries.
a little bit extra, input regarding this question. So, were you considering different funding options? And when was the point that you understood, hey, I actually need the funding to scale, right? Like or where did this idea come from, and how to evaluate and understand, like, okay, I need this, and then I need to start looking for benefactors, right? And then basically, reach out, right? Who were you considering and why Goethe?
hmm So in the first place, you don't need any funding for the project. If you want to scale up, there is no problem to do it without the funding. I needed a funding because I wanted this like very fast amplification and the outreach that I will do
Mhm,
because I was doing this event internationally. So that's why I needed the funding, and I wanted to give students incentive to improve their knowledge in what we are doing.
mhm,
So it was just an incentive for them to do the work and to get involved, to get interested in the project.
mhm,
But it's not a necessity if you want to just
mhm.
do the project itself.
Okay, but
For choosing the Goethe Institute, I had a lot of options actually, and I
mhm,
reached out to different education institutions who have in their interest youth education. So
mhm,
if
mhm,
they are for educating the youth, if they have this in their objective, I reached out to those educational institutions and I got rejected from a lot of them. They didn't respond to me. They responded with some partial, very low offer.
mhm,
And Goethe Institute was one of the institutions that also target um, youth education, and they were the ones who got interested. And then I pitched the idea to them,
mhm,
and we continued our um, then relationship further.
mhm. Okay, what did you specifically need funding for? Like for marketing, for investing into digital infrastructure such as Zoom accounts or anything else? Yeah, what for?
The funding was for the participants. So basically, we got 6 million Zooms from Goethe Institute
Uh-huh.
for the winners of my writing competition. The
Mhm.
first place
Oh.
gets 3 million Zooms,
Mm,
the second place gets 2 million
mm,
Zooms, and the
mm.
third place gets 1 million Zoom. So for that, we got the funding, and then yeah.
Okay, got it. So basically, you needed the funding in order to basically create more interest and incentive for participation. You build the educational program basically investing zero resources, but in order to get more traction and interest, you needed funding. That's why you reached out to these different institutions. Okay, got it. Then,
Mhm.
did you start your project alone or did you have any co-contributors like friends or classmates? So basically, were you a solo founder or did you have any co-founder?
Okay, so Let's say it like this. I had a co-founder as well,
Uh-huh.
but I had the idea of how to improve this project and like how to improve it in scope. But I also had a friend who helped me in the beginning of the project, with whom we conducted the first, I think, 2 to 3 huge events in the beginning. But then after that, I became the solo founder and the organizer of events.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Any advice for solo founders? That's a fancy term for those who are into startups. Yeah.
yeah.
So any
But there
advice?
is no problem with um
Is there any advice for being for building it solo?
um there is actually no problem uh,
Hmm.
being a solo founder in the beginning as well.
Hmm.
As long as you promote your project through social medias and you involve first your friends who might pitch the idea to other students. And then again, the consistency will do the work. Just be consistent, even though I remember I was a part of Ibrahim debate team in the beginning, like when we had like 5 participants, 5 to 10 participants in the beginning. We were waiting for like half an hour for students to come for the debate to happen. But then regularly, we conducted it like 3, 4 times every week. And after that, I saw a drastic change because they liked the initial debates, they started inviting their friends too. And then in like less than a month, from 7 participants, we went up to 20, 30 participants. So again, as I said, consistency is the key. If you do it regularly, students are gonna come for sure. There are a lot of students who are interested in public speaking, in improving their um, just speaking skills
Hmm.
in English. So if you create opportunities, students will definitely be engaged and they will come to the event.
Okay. I think it's now time to switch to your research journey, right? So you conducted research titled Corruption's Grip, Societal Shifts in Public
Mm.
Sentiment in Uzbekistan. So how did this project come about, right? Like, so you were clear on your passion, but I think there's different reasoning strategies and brainstorming strategies too when it comes to A, planning a project, and B, approaching building research paper, right? That required extra research, understanding like did you try to find a knowledge gap in the topic, or again, did you try to go about it in the following way? Okay, I have an interest. Does the topic like really reflect my interest? How was it? How did you start building towards the research?
hmm So it's again based on my personal experiences
Mhm.
of what I saw in real life, of how corruption it hinders opportunities for students, for elderly people, for marginalized groups, and I was interested how it actually operates on a larger scale, on a country scale, and I just started um, exploring and researching this topic. The
Mhm.
most difficult thing was that there is like almost no um, detailed analysis of the situation in Uzbekistan. There are very
Mhm.
few resources, and
Mhm.
most of the resources I found, they were uh, from researchers, like from foreign researchers who did research on Uzbekistan. So
Mhm.
basically, there is a very few Uzbek true resources that will reflect the true situation in our country.
Mhm.
Um, so that was the difficult part of my research, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so I think we can now go to Ruh, I'm sorry, apologies if I mispronounced the name. So there is a question from Ruxora, right? Could you please share how did you write your research paper, and how do you reach out to a professor to write with or be mentored under? How did it get published? Share your tips for beginners, please.
So first, how do you start with researching?
Yeah.
First, you need to find a topic that you're interested in, truly. And first, then you have to check whether there is already a research paper that explores your question.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to write a research paper, the question has to be unanswered. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make your own research and readings to get to the writing part. So
Okay.
first, check out whether there is another researcher who did this for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try to find readings. And the best readings are the preliminary sources. Read the books and read the readings that are written like through the first perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Books and readings where an author analyzes another's book, it's not the best resource for your research paper. So find the preliminary sources for your research paper. Quickly go through them, read them. What are they talking about? So that you better understand the topic that you will write about. About the professor, because I was in the admissions program, freshman's admissions program, there Luciana helped me with writing,
Mm-hmm.
and overall she guided me through the uh, research
Mm-hmm.
project.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I have a question. What tools did you use um, in order to check whether the research that you want to write was done previously by somebody else?
No, that's easy. You just
Mm-hmm.
type on Google, on the internet, you just try to, you
Mm-hmm.
basically type your question.
Mm-hmm.
What are
Okay.
you interested about? You type
Okay.
your question. If there is a research on that, then halas, move
Okay.
on, read it if you're interested, get
Yeah.
the answer for your question. And then if you ponder on
Mm-hmm.
deeper
Mm-hmm.
topic.
Why I asked, I know there's a lot of different research related software right now, especially AI based. There's one that I use, Research Rabbit, where you basically, for example, you find paper that is related to the question that you want to address. You upload it there, and you can see all of like as a network, you can see all of the works that are referenced there. And again, the works that those works also reference. So you basically, this way, by using this software, you get um, you get a grasp over, okay, how this topic is researched and who are the leading thinkers within this question. And it's like, I think you by using this software, you basically spend less time finding the right literature and basically understanding how, I wouldn't say, in understanding the landscape of a question or a very specific niche domain that you want to explore. So again, it's a research rabbit. And it's not browser based, it's mostly the software that you need to download. But there's also many other AI based tools that you can explore. Lots of interesting things. Please do. Okay, and how did it get published? How did you publish your no, let's start with how much time did it take for you to produce the research paper? And then how did you publish it?
I think I finished my research paper in 3 months.
Mhm.
So it's like doing the readings and then getting your own evidence. So I did a Google form through which I collected
Mhm.
answers,
Mhm.
and then analyzing those
Mhm.
responses, using different quantitative methods to
Mhm.
apply that to real life, and then calculating, putting that on your research,
Mhm.
and then writing the references. So it all took 3 months.
Mhm.
For getting published, my research paper, it wasn't published anywhere. It was just for like curiosity purposes.
Mhm.
So it wasn't published anywhere. Uh, So yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So overall, but still, when you were applying, right, in the application, you mentioned that you did you wrote research on this topic, and you basically, I think you had to explain, you had to showcase the context of your research, right? Basically, how you approach doing it. So,
Mhm.
like, to basically, even if it wasn't published, right? Like publishing does kind of raise the legitimacy of the research, right? Because it's kind
Yeah.
of a standardized, it's accepted, but once it's published, right? But if it's not published, it doesn't mean that that's a low quality work, right? But you have to learn to showcase the tier, right, of the research paper, of the intellectual work that you've done by approaching it I don't know, in specific ways, right? So how did you go about showcasing the tier of your intellectual work in order to like show that you're you're really good, like you can do research, maybe not even just can, but you can maybe create new knowledge, right? How did you go about it?
Um, I just submitted my research paper because they have that option.
Oh,
I just
okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I just sent them my research paper. To Columbia and Harvard, I sent my research paper directly because they
Mhm,
have that option. If you have like any other materials that you want to submit, just submit
mhm,
them through this link. And I
mhm,
submitted my research paper. I could also publish it through different research channels, but I didn't have that much time after writing the research paper to explore those opportunities and
mhm,
um,
mhm,
apply to them. So
mhm,
if I had time, I would definitely do that. But because I didn't have much time, I just sent my research paper to them
mhm.
directly.
So basically on the timeline, right? So ninth grade, you did the stats, you had all the stats, right? Or was it in the 10th grade? The stats.
Um, Ninth
Uh-huh.
and transition slightly to 10th.
Yeah, so basically beginning of 10th grade. Okay, you had the stats then.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe like October, November of 10th grade, you started working on Justice Society, right? Okay. And when
Mm-hmm.
did it start kicking off, like between 10th and 11th on that timeline?
The research paper.
No, 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 no. The Justice Society.
Oh, um, I started Justice Society a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was involved in Nimelchi and my other
Mm-hmm.
in Equality Sparks. I was involved in other extracurriculars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I started my Justice Society, I think, in March, April,
Mm-hmm. Okay. I see. I
and
see.
I think yeah, it kicked off in May, June.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
And
yeah.
so you were holding the events through the summer, right? And somewhere
Yeah.
around like maybe August, I think in August you started working on your research paper. No, earlier.
Earlier, because I
Earlier.
was in the admissions program in March.
Yeah. Okay.
I did my research.
Okay. So starting
Um,
March, right?
uh-huh.
Okay, so you were writing it for like March, April, May, and
Mm-hmm.
by the summer you already had the research paper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you were working on the essays, right?
Yeah.
And the Justice Society. Got it. So essays take a lot
Yeah.
of attention. That's why it's better to
Mm-hmm.
start early, have all of the stats, all the projects as early as possible so that you kind of, when you start working on the application, meaning on, writing the essays, you have to have what you want to apply with already at the operationalized level, right? Like you kind of, you got to be accustomed to it so that it doesn't take a lot of attention because you'll have to process and learn a lot about how to write, how to build narrative, and etc. Okay. Okay. Do you have any more questions related to research? If you do, please drop them right now. Okay. So did you publish it, I guess, right? Not like did I or didn't have to. So did you publish
No,
it or yeah.
I didn't have time to publish it. I just sent my research paper directly to the universities which
Mm,
asked for it.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. So, as an example of the work done, right? So that they could look into it if they want to, if they did that, right? In order to evaluate the scope of intellectual work and I don't know, intellectual talent. How did you describe your research work in your activities list? And did you work with a
Mm,
professor?
I worked with Luciana. She's a
Hmm.
professor in Virginia Tech University.
Hmm.
And in my activities list, I just wrote for the position, it's like researcher, the uh, and then you write the topic, you describe in the description, you write what you did. You, for example, collected data in this region, did the quantitative analysis on your data, and you write in this description what you did.
Hmm.
Mm. And in the company name, basically, you write the topic of your research paper.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. 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 Um, Great. All right. So right now we're finally done with the portion one of this event, which took us I think under an hour, right? Right now, let's
Mm-hmm.
discuss what you called in our pre-call the application harmony framework. Yeah, a term coined by Parvina, even though she doesn't have copyright to it. Anyway, yeah. So basically, right now, let's speak specifically about admissions, right? Yeah. What was your mindset about admissions and application when you started, and how it shifted in the process, right? And yeah, and how it shifted in the process. Let's start with that. Oh, hello. Am I lagging? Do I have connection issues? Connectivity issues? Sorry. No?
Now, no, I
Okay.
can hear you well. Okay.
Apologies.
No worries. So
Must
my
I?
take on it,
Uh-huh. Go on.
yeah, yeah. In the beginning, I had like a slight vision of what I have to do, of the requirements
Uh-huh.
for the admissions, but I didn't know how to pull out my whole application, how to basically build it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just completing the requirements one by one.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it got closer to the like admission cycle, when I had to already apply, I in the process I started like learning how to build a good application.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, because I didn't know how to do it. Again, if you don't go through the process yourself, you will never know how it feels like
Yeah.
to like put the puzzles together, put the
Together.
pieces
Yeah.
into one whole picture. Yeah. So it was, yeah, hands-on experience while I was applying to the
Mm-hmm.
universities.
Mm-hmm. So overall, it's just doing what you know needs to be done, and then in the process, like reflecting, connecting the dots, and polishing the work, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So, um, in our pre-call, you also shared that um, it's very important how you write, which is obvious, right? Like because you write a lot of essays, and I think that's a big topic for us to discuss, right? Because there might be there might be some, well, how can I say? There might be some wrong expectations about how to approach writing and what actually admissions essays mean, right? Many people approach it like, okay, from the standpoint, some people, admissions committees, they expect something I built to fulfill their expectations. Some people approach it with the idea in their head like, how do I showcase who I am most efficiently? Like, how do I keep this authenticity very bright and, I don't know, very loud, or maybe not very loud, right? How do I make the whole application speak like me, right? And I think that's how you approach the application, right? Um, Overall. So, what advice can you give to those who are working on their essays right now or plan to work on them for the next admission cycle? How to make the application as authentic as possible, speak like you, and make them all work in one system? How to go about it?
So while writing a response to supplemental questions the university gives, um, like the most common problem that students face is directly answering the question.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a lot in mind, they want to show off with their skills, with their personality traits, with their experiences. They forget the most important thing, which is answering the question. First, you have to target whether you're directly answering the question that the university asks from you. Because in the first place, um, when university gives a question, they give it with a certain understanding of what they want to get from a student, right? So
Yep.
while targeting a question, just answer. First, put on your Google Docs the answer itself, short answer. And then after that, maybe develop it into an essay, depending, of course, then consider different factors that might expand that answer into a bigger response. For
Mm-hmm.
example, 200 words, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to consider um, through which experiences you want to show this,
Mm-hmm.
because it shouldn't be like only words of your thoughts, but you have to show that through your experiences in life.
Mm-hmm.
Through different experiences, you will write that response. And then you see, oh, like it's the same thing that I wrote in my personal statement. So you change maybe your experiences. Or maybe you notice that um, maybe this one of the experiences they might not comply with your extracurricular activities. You did something different. And you look at your extracurricular activities, all this extracurricular activity experience could directly answer the question. So and thus you modify one by one.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, while writing, the first draft is the it's even though it looks good,
Mm-hmm.
believe me, it's a very raw draft.
Yeah.
You have to go through a lot of cycles of editing to go to the final draft that you could apply. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one way to go about writing essays for universities is, A, you gather all prompts, you start producing some ideas as answers to those prompts, and then you just develop them through a process of, like asking yourself extra questions, right? Okay, so if I want to
mhm,
say this, if I make this statement, if this is true, then what would be most of, I wouldn't say most obvious, right? If it's most obvious, then if it's most obvious evidence, then possibly it's not really interesting, right? But what would be the strongest and most compelling evidence that this is true in your life, right? Um,
mhm,
Again, and what experiences can reinforce that, right? So basically, when you're developing application, you really need to know like who you are, or basically discover that in the process of building your application. There's no right way of going about it. There are many different ways. You could choose, depends on, I don't know, depending on your, I don't know, starting point, whatever. Um, I think it's not like you choose where to start, but rather you learn as much as you can with the time that you have, and you try to implement everything and do the best that you can do with that. Okay, and again, it's important to ask questions when you start writing and producing answers for those essays. One question is, okay, if this statement about myself is true, then what would be the most compelling and interesting, right? Um, Evidence at the level of my experiences, at the level of my thinking, at the level of my actions. How would I behave if that was true? And then using your experiences to exemplify that. And another thing, going about your essays not just in a storytelling way, which is important, right? That's what makes it alive and engaging and interesting. the good storytelling is paramount to successful admissions essays because they
Mhm.
either just read information about you or they live a life with you. And living a life with you when they read your application, right? That's what makes them remember you, right? And again, you can do this by knowing how storytelling works. You can search for different storytelling books and methods, mechanics, and employ them into your writing routine. And there has to be a writing routine if you are serious about getting in, right? Yeah, and also thinking about storytelling and developing the essay as an argument to who you think you are, right? But again, to
Mhm.
develop the argument to who you think you are, you must know who you are.
Mhm.
And now the question is, this is not my question, but the question that Abror asked earlier. He was one of the first to ask that in our group chat, and he stated it here too, reminded us about it. What questions can students ask themselves when they start working on essays or maybe just on admission on their application in order to learn who they are and discover their passion, right? Because their reflection is important and not just running in the background, right? But in the form of directed, constructive writing that puts these ideas onto paper, right? And rearranges your, I don't know, identity, narrative that you have about yourself. So, what are the questions that they can ask themselves?
I think a lot of things could be derived from daily reflections they make.
Hmm.
Um, and it shouldn't necessarily be. So I see a lot of students, they make written reflections.
Hmm.
They reflect about their daily experiences. They try to remember every like conversation, maybe situations they have been to, which will help them to maybe identify what they're interested in of the situations they pay attention to more.
Hmm.
Or also it could be just to take a moment, like maybe 20, 30 minutes per day, to think about what you've been through in
Hmm.
the day.
Hmm.
Because now we are a very, human beings overall becoming very social. We
Yeah.
interact with like 20, 30 people at least in a day.
Hmm.
And you first have to, like, at the end of
Hmm.
the day, take a moment to think about your conversation,
Yeah.
your the situations that you have been to again, and pay
Hmm.
attention where you like what's the main highlight of your day, or what questions you ask yourself in the moment.
Yeah.
That could lead to what you're interested in.
Hmm.
Um, like on a daily basis, you notice you're interested in something, and the questions there are endless. You get an answer to your question, and then it again leads to another thing. So, if there is a pattern like this that you notice that you're asking a lot of questions and they're remaining
Yeah.
unanswered, and all of them are in the same direction, go into that. That means that's where your passion lies.
Exactly.
So it's again like comes from a lot of reflection, either through written, or if you don't really like writing, through just scrolling everything in your mind, taking a moment to think about what you've been through
Hmm.
overall. It is very
Hmm.
important
Yeah.
because like it will reveal what kind of person you are.
Yeah. And help you integrate experiences, right? So, like, you
Mhm.
either let life happen to you or you make life, right? Out of what
Mhm.
happens to you.
Yeah,
And that's, I
very good
think,
statement.
that's what, differs um, a person who is an object to life from the person who is, I don't know, a leader who is the subject of life or of any activity, right? So again,
Mhm.
reflection, it's not just about writing. Writing is one of the instruments that you can use in order to gain more clarity and about yourself, because there's a specific state that you go into when you write. You basically zone into yourself. You disconnect from whatever
Mhm.
troubles you. You focus on something that you want to say and you learn to say it. and you discover your voice and you try to say it in your own way, right? That's why it's important. It's also important because, again, most of the coursework you will do at college, especially at a top university, will be reading and writing, communicating.
True.
So you have to learn to write, and you have to learn to write like really well, because if you don't, it's going to be very painful, and you're not, and you just won't be able to take the most out of the college, right? Because of what it is. But
Mhm.
speaking of reflection, right? I think it's also the skill of how fast you learn to understand, okay, so this is what happened to me. This is what it means. Why does it mean? What is the evidence of what it means? How can I make decision about what it means? And then what will I do? How I will let that landscape of experience influence my actions and behavior, right? And that's exactly the level of introspection and self-knowledge that top universities want to see in you, whether you're aware of what you think, of how you process it, and of how that influences your actions, or you're not. Or maybe you're not as aware as they would want, not like they would want you to be, but like there is a vision to the quality and state of students that they want to have in the student body, right? Because they see
Mhm.
how that's, community society wants to, they wanted to operate at which level, right? And advanced reflective skills, introspection is paramount to it. If you still don't know what it is, go read about it on Wikipedia, okay? In order to understand, okay, what is it? How can I do it well? How can I start doing it today? And start practicing it. Basically, at the level of, your just inner experience, and then expressing it through writing. If that is present, I mean, that will help you a lot. Okay, a very interesting topic. Great. 10 students from Uzbekistan, and what can you say about this year's case? I think we can switch to that a little bit later, right? Because we were speaking and we are speaking yet
So,
about application harmony, right? And approaching writing. So right now we just discussed what are the skills that are central to building really good application, right? That you must learn how to do early on. Then also authenticity, right? I think we didn't develop this topic enough. Um, Again, my concern and what I observed a lot and what I faced myself is I think there is a solid percentage of people who, when they start applying, they start, or like who start letting themselves think that, oh, I can actually go for it. I can do it. I'm interested. They might face this inner, like, okay, I think I'm not enough because of how I think of these universities, because of how I think about these admissions officers, right? I was personally afraid of them. I was thinking like, oh, they are these great people, and I'm this just student who was like, I did a lot of things, but nobody told me how to make meaning of what I did. I had to learn that myself through very hard experiences. Um, yeah, and your, I think what and how you think about who will read your application and who is there and what the university is like influences a lot um, the how you approach writing, from which standpoint, which can actually then influence whether it's a successful piece of writing or not very much, right? Because that will influence the emotional baggage of it, the voice that you use. Yeah. So, how to make it as authentic as possible, what to focus on, right? What was there in your head at the level of intention, I don't know, um, goal, vision for how you wanted your application to be?
um, I think there shouldn't be any problems with authenticity as long as you're being honest with yourself and with
Mm.
your application. Just write as it is. Um, show your true self. Don't be afraid of showing yourself because that's what makes the university admit you. if they see who you truly are from the application, if they can sense this personal touch that you have to add to your application, they will admit you. If you're trying to be just as another student, oh, I am this, I don't have any flaws, I am just perfect, then there is like
Mm,
it will be difficult to sense the personal touch. You really
yeah,
have to show your experiences, you really have to show your growth, you really have to show your weak points and strong points so that they see what kind of person you are.
yeah,
For them to really like say, oh, this student, he perfectly or she perfectly suits our student body dynamic, and
yeah,
she would or he would perfectly contribute to our society. So don't be afraid of showing yourself as
mhm,
you truly are,
mhm.
right as it is, and that's what makes your personal statement stand out, because you have to show yourself as a person.
True, true. And let that knowledge guide you towards choosing the universities that are fit for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
They are fit for you, not you're fit for them. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, great. Then what other questions do I have regarding the application journey? Okay, uncertainties. Okay. Uh, okay. Compelling narratives. I think we can speak in depth right now about application, how corruption, research, application materials, relationship activities. Um, oh, okay. So I think the key question: what was the central theme of your or story of your personal statement? If that's okay to share.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
My personal statement was my journey of exploration through my experiences, how I like understood what the problem was in the society in the beginning, and how my experiences in the court, in the criminal court where I interned in NYUAD, in Justice Society, my experiences in these extracurriculars, they shaped my understanding of the problem in Uzbekistan more
mhm,
clearly, and how I will target that problem now. So it was this whole journey that I explained in my personal statement. It
mhm.
was, I would say, a shift in my understanding of how I should contribute to a society
Okay. So overall, how you arrived at your purpose, right? The
at purpose.
experiences that
Yes.
shaped it and how it led you to decide on what to do next, what you did in
Mm-hmm.
those experiences and activities, and how they further expanded your worldview, your stance on a specific problem, right? And how that then instructs your choice of maybe university or like of a specific future, right? How do you envision
Mm-hmm.
yourself beyond it? Yeah, so that's what I think personal statement must convey, right? Like it's a it's a picture of you as a person. It must be so like you must be able to compress your worldview, I think outside the time, right? Uh in under 650 words, right? Or 700, 650.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 650.
650.
It's like more like a worldview kind of essay, right? That when you
Mm-hmm.
read, you kind of you understand why these activities, why these stats, why
Mm-hmm.
um why this voice, and why you care about what you care, right? So
Yeah.
it answers a lot of questions about the why. And how it must have a soul, right? A lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Okay. Do you have any other questions related to personal statement? Because we're going to right now switch into the waitlist journey and discuss the letter of continued interest. We will touch upon a little regarding candidate weekend, and then yeah, mostly handling the waitlist. Yeah, and then we're going to end the event. So if you have anything related to personal statement, should my PS actually connect to my major or future career? I have a potential perspective to share too. Okay, Parvina, you first.
Preferably, yes,
Hmm.
because Basically, how it works, you choose your major because you are passionate about it. That's your
Mhm,
purpose. That's
mhm,
where your interest lies, your future lies.
mhm,
So it's very interconnected with the person that you are, right? Because
mhm,
as a person, like you chose that path, and
mhm,
that's why your personal statement potentially should include this future path.
mhm.
Uh, it tells about me as a person, but not my major career, intellectual curiosity. One more thing, a personal statement should also include your intellectual curiosity, preferably too, and how well educated you are in the sphere that you're interested in. So you
Yeah.
still,
Yep.
for example, if I was writing about justice, I showed them my intellectual depth of what I know about this topic
Mhm.
in the context of Uzbekistan and overall in the context of life and
Yeah.
more. So I showed them
Mhm.
intellectual capability as well, which is also very important because they have to know that you have this foundation of knowledge in the topic that you're interested in. Because I have a lot of resources, right? And I use them in a good way to explore my interests. So that's why
Mhm.
your personal statement preferably should also include your intellectual capability and curiosity in your field.
I I remember that when we had like a pre-interview with you, we touched upon this point, and we discussed it in the following frame. Like, it's important to know your topic to the level where you can use like really, I wouldn't say like super niche vocabulary, but the kind of vocabulary at the level of really habitual use to showcase what you know in the topic. That's going to like be a strong signal and indicator if you do it, naturally, that
Mm-hmm.
you're into the topic, like you know the thing, like you know how it works, right? So read
Mm-hmm.
and know your subject to the level where you basically sound as a person who's really serious about it, right? Like you have to speak with it, not just generally explain the interest. So more like, when you explore different research papers and you go into like, I don't know, what can it be? Like some okay, you take a medical paper, you start reading it, and you're like, what language is it written in? It's super specific. Even if you have
Yeah, yeah,
background in biology, right? And even if you know chemistry, you're like, wait, what? Like, I didn't know such words even existed, right? Not at that level, but I'm trying to use this as example to just, you know, um, help you understand and showcase that when you read such papers, you're like, oh, some like really like people with extensive and deep knowledge in the subject and precise. They wrote that. Okay. And also regarding the personal statement, right? There were several mentions in the previous episodes we hosted that yes, you applied to university because you want to major in a subject or topic, and then join some company or build your own company, right? They must see not just what you did and who you are today, but how you're going to use what you have, right, through the years, and how you're going to use these experiences and skills and knowledge, and how you as a person will make decisions and act in their specific university with the infinite amount of opportunities they have, right? So they want you to be able to choose because they have a lot of things to offer, right? So yes, do have this in mind, but don't, limit yourself to just major. You must effectively, I don't want to say like a must, like an absolute statement, but like it's a good idea to be able to paint into like, okay, I'm going to use this university's education to become who? To do what? In my country, on planet Earth, in the galaxy of Milky Way. It's just like colonize Mars. Okay. Um, great, great. So let's basically jump into the wait list, basically the highlight of your admissions journey. You went to candidate weekend, which very often is a strong indicator of I'm gonna be admitted, right? That you will be admitted.
yeah.
But okay, basically, if you're admitted to candidate weekend and you go there, how likely is it that you will be rejected?
From what I know,
Uh-huh.
zero.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
not zero, but
Like very
it's
low.
very low. Very,
Okay.
very low. Like
Okay.
you either you will be accepted or waitlisted
Okay.
in AD1, AD2, and
Mm-hmm.
regular decision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
What do you
And
think?
maybe now
Uh-huh. Go on. What?
we answer to the question last year of is when
Yeah,
over.
yeah, go on. I wanted to discuss like what do they actually do at the candidate weekend and what's important to do before it and at the event in order to like not mess it up. Yeah, but let's address this one and then jump to my question.
Mhm. So yeah, last year NYUAD admitted 12 students from Uzbekistan.
Mhm.
Now we're like I think six girl students and six boy students. And I don't know what happened in AD1. Only one student came to candidate weekend. Maybe there were only few applicants who overall applied to NYU Abu Dhabi this year. Maybe that was the case, but we'll see in AD2 what will happen.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay, okay. So, what is the candidate weekend about? Or what do they do? Do they scan your consciousness in order to basically
Yeah,
evaluate potential? Or what do they do? What is it
yeah,
for?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, candidate weekend, it's a very chill experience. It's a very fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a candidate weekend, for sure go. Basically, like if you were honest in your application, there is nothing to be scared of. You will have a reading exam, a small reading exam, where
Mm-hmm.
they will check your basically knowledge in English, and then you will have two short interviews where you will speak to professors about your application. And besides that, it's just fun experience with very diverse uh, student body where you will interact with a lot of people asking where you're from, what is your major, what are
Mm-hmm.
your interests. Yeah, and you will see the campus, how beautiful it is. You will see the opportunities here. And yeah, overall, it's a very like chill, fun experience
Mm-hmm.
about which you don't have to worry about at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like if you've done enough work on your application, you'll be able to just speak with your story in these interviews. And
Yeah, yeah.
if you have nice stats like SAT and you actually did the actual hard work in order to master the art of critical thinking, efficient reading, right? Um, then nothing to worry about. Okay, okay. Yeah, so overall, two interviews, one reading test. The reading test is mostly like what,
Mhm.
like the SAT format, or is it right now that you're freshman and you go through the classes? Did reading that you had at candidate weekend mimic what you do right now? Or like, yeah, can you share
Not at
more
all.
about what that was?
Mhm. Completely no. The reading test is just simple multiple choice question thing,
Okay.
similar to an IELTS test. They give out you papers.
Okay.
You read five different texts,
Mm-hmm.
and then you answer to. I think each of them has five questions,
Mm-hmm.
multiple choice questions. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
again, I think it's just they're testing your English
Okay.
knowledge, and that's
So
it.
not even at the level of SAT in terms of complexity.
I wouldn't say not on the level of SAT.
Yeah, so pass. Don't worry. All fine.
Yeah, don't
If you
worry at
did
all.
if you did the IELTS right, and if you've been through the whole admissions
Yeah,
process, you'll just relax.
you'll be fine.
Yeah, about the interviews, right? Two professors. What like where do these interviews happen? Do they happen in this like very cozy spaces where they sit, the professor sit and they like sip on a coffee and like hi, or like how what must students expect?
No, it's a much faster process. You just
Uh-huh.
quickly go in. It's like 15 minutes with each professor. You sit and they ask you questions about
Uh-huh.
your. They don't know I think they don't read your applications. They don't know anything about you.
Mhm,
They
mhm,
just test
mhm, mhm,
how well you can show yourself in 15
mhm,
minutes, how
mhm,
well you can present yourself in 15 minutes. They
mhm,
ask you general questions, which you have to answer, and
mhm,
the questions from my experience, I think they were seeing whether you fit into the diverse cultural place like this, whether
mhm,
you are a right fit,
mhm,
because a lot of their questions were about how well you manage the conflict, how like what is your
mhm.
relationship with being in a community where a lot of people fast. So yeah, they were mostly checking how
Mhm.
fit you are to this community.
I'd say whether you will support the specific social dynamic that is unique to this place or you will disturb
Yeah.
it. And maybe disturbance sometimes is good when it's kind of a brings in the harmonious diversity that reinforces what already exists, right? Rather than opposes strongly what they see happening there, right? So more like behavioral level questions, behavioral style questions that and you have to learn to efficiently showcase who you are in under 15 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Now, you were waitlisted. Okay, you went to a candidate weekend. You were like, I'm gonna get admitted. Like, there are only two options, either waitlist or getting admitted. So I think I'm closer.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you weren't building any expectations, right? So the waitlist came, and was that unexpected or expected? And how did you react on it happening? What did you start doing right away?
Um, Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything. I just opened it's a wait list, and
Mhm,
then I just said, okay, we'll wait until my waitlist decision will come out. But when it's waitlisted, when I was waitlisted from universities, I was waitlisted from 5 universities, and I was I didn't have any further expectations because
mhm,
coming out from the waitlist, it's already a miracle. So I was not waiting for anything, and I just
mhm.
moved on,
Okay.
started exploring different other opportunities, universities. But then, yeah.
So overall, what does waitlist mean, right? Like, how did you interpret
Mm-hmm.
this decision as related to your application and, I don't know, its quality, level of development, etc., etc.
That that they think that I could be a very good student in the
Mm-hmm.
university, but they don't have any spaces left.
Mm.
That Yeah, and if any like space pops up, they will admit me right away. I
Okay.
think that's what waitlist means.
Okay, okay, great. So now, based on it, your task when you're waitlisted, and if you really want to get in that university, right, and influence their decision making, is to is to influence their decisions. And you do this by writing the LOTC, which is the letter of continued interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so letter of continued interest, it basically says, hey, I really love your university. If you give me the spot, I will definitely
Mm-hmm.
take it in and will never reject you. You can count on it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, but
Yeah.
again, it has to be strategic and you have to go through, like, you have to reflect again on your current application. What were the possible gaps, right? And then address those gaps and maybe bring in new evidence of, I don't know, achievement growth in this letter of continued interest, right? What was your
Mm-hmm.
strategy for the LOTC? What did you include in it?
Um, so again, as you said, I went through my application to search for any like drawbacks
Mhm,
and red flags that university saw to waitlist me.
mhm,
And since I didn't find any like potential um negative parts of my application, I
mhm,
decided to focus on what I did after applying to NYU Abu Dhabi.
mhm, mhm,
I focused mainly on how I further improved myself, my extracurriculars, my interests deeper.
mhm,
So I showed my again experiences. Um, what I did after submitting my applications.
Mhm.
So I described those 3, 4 months
Mhm.
briefly, and then I just said thank you for considering my application and waitlisting me, and that I'm
Mhm.
still interested in your university.
Mhm.
It
Okay.
was very short. It was like 1 page.
Okay. So, did you write several letters of continued interest to all of the institutions that waitlisted you, or did you write one to NYUAD alone?
I wrote several for each
Mhm.
university.
Okay. Okay. Um, Great. How did you did you try to reinforce the fit for the university, and how did you go about showing it in the letter of continued interest, if you did?
I didn't really signal that in
Mm-hmm.
my letter of continued interest. I just, again,
Mm-hmm.
simply explained what I did,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
everything is credible, that I'm still continuing my interests, my
Mm-hmm.
passion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah.
Okay. How did you explore how to approach writing it? Did you go and search the internet for specific examples of these kind of letters? Did you follow the script, or did you were like, okay, this is how they're written, but I'm gonna go about it my way? Did you follow a specific structure, or how did you write it basically?
Uh, I just first searched up what is a letter of
Yeah.
continued interest,
Mm,
what it specifically like targets, what it has to show, and
mm.
then I focused on that.
Okay. Okay.
That yeah, and briefly mentioned everything.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
was very direct. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't make any like risky moments. I was very direct and short and brief, and
Mm-hmm.
just expressed my interest in the university.
Okay, yeah. So the decisions usually come out, uh wait, you were applying ED, right? Or RD?
RD, regular decision.
RD, right. So the decisions came
Uh-huh.
out early April, end of March, right?
March. Yeah, 27, I think.
27th March, you were
Yeah.
waitlisted. How fast must people write back when they're waitlisted? And how much time did it take for you to produce a solid letter?
I'm I'm not sure, but they put a deadline in the email they sent to you.
Mm-hmm.
They say until what time you have
Mm-hmm.
to submit your letter of continued interest. I think it's like 2 weeks max. In 2 weeks, you have to submit your letter of continued interest, and then in the middle of May, they give you the results. The
Mm-hmm.
first results come out in the middle of May.
In the middle of May. Okay, okay.
Mm,
So overall, when you're waitlisted from many universities, right, it's best to write really good letters of continued interest and also possibly start looking and applying to some other universities to just, secure the potential future of studying at university, right? Was it how you went
mhm.
about it?
Can you briefly repeat the question?
Yeah, so again, basically, you sent the letters of continued interest, and then do you start looking for other universities to apply to?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, somewhere in Europe. Ah, yes, I remember you mentioned that. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So we have an extra question from Ramazan. When does the candidate weekend happen in a timeline?
So, okay. For regular decision,
Mm-hmm,
if I applied like until the 1st of January, right? I
mm-hmm,
was in the candidate weekend from um 6th to 9th March.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so
For
usually
Mhm.
it happens between the end of February and begin like first decade of March or through March.
From 6th to 9th March.
Ah, okay. So there is a set date where everyone comes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
And recently,
Mm-hmm,
if ED1 applicants they applied
mm-hmm,
like until 1st of November,
mm-hmm,
ED1 applicants recently came.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. Great, great. I think we've covered pretty much everything in our today's Getting In episode, first episode of the 2025-2026. Um, admissions cycle. Parvina, thank you for very, I forgot the word. Thank you for sharing your experience with us
Sure.
from building justice society and conducting research, building a successful project as a solo founder, to crafting a wholesome application and navigating such uncertain outcomes as being waitlisted. Yeah, for everyone who attended today, you will be able to access this recording at our website. We have already shared the link to the website in the group chat of the event. In any way, the reminder of event being downloaded to the website will be sent throughout Monday. So please do expect it at around that time. And regarding the promised guide that we mentioned in the registration form, we have unfortunate delays to its I'd say to designing it, right? You will still be able to get it throughout Monday at max on Tuesday. It will focus specifically on waitlist, and we'll have extra tips that Parvina shared with us to build a successful, wholesome application. I think we did address a lot of questions. Thank you all for being so engaged and staying with us for more than more than oh wait, that was
One
very
and a half
long. Very,
hours.
very, very long, like almost 2 hours. Almost two
Yeah.
hours. Yep. I hope to see you in the coming events. The next event is going to cover Sita, who got into Columbia School of General Studies as a non-traditional applicant, meaning not straight from the high school, but having something interesting happening between high school and the getting in. Great. So I think we're wrapped up for this episode. Parvina, any closing words you want to say?
No, just thank you everyone for attending. I hope it was very useful for the upcoming ED2 admission cycle. If you have any other questions, you can text me, you can DM me, I'll answer right away, hopefully.
It would actually be amazing if you do share your questions in the group chat. We really want engagement to be present there. Don't view it as just another group. View it as like, I don't know, your potential power group, right? Where you can find like-minded people. Parvina is there too. Yeah, anyway, see you in the group chat. Stay tuned for the updates. Parvina, thank you again. And everyone have an amazing evening. Um, those who joined, um, those who joined, okay, so there are two cohorts and two ways people join this event, either from Freshman Alumni Network or from the event group. So if you're in alumni, you we will share with you all of the links and necessary materials too in the alumni channel. Okay. If you share it through the group, if you are connected through the group, then everything will be shared there. Hope I addressed your concern. Yeah, have a great evening. Bye everyone.